let's get started. Make your way into child's pose. Knees apart, hips to the heels, and forehead to the earth. Arms reaching out in front and beginning to focus on the breath. Deep, slow inhales and long quality exhales. Try to deepen with each inhale a little bit more, and then try to make your exhales just a little bit longer than your inhales. We call this Ujjayi breathing or victorious breath, so you want to hear it. You want to feel it towards the back of the throat rather than in the nasal passages. So if you breathe through the nose, you'll hear it very nasally. If you breathe and expand, moving through your lungs and your belly, you're going to feel and hear it more to the back of the throat. Your breath will be your biggest indicator throughout this practice of whether you are present or whether you're rushing ahead or falling behind. If the breath becomes compromised, if it becomes labored, if it becomes erratic or maybe even non-existent, start to pay attention to your internal dialogue. A positive intention is a great idea to hold for your practice, because a positive intention brings you back into the moment and away from the chit-chattering of the mind. We're looking to find peace in the present moment so that when we move into our day and we find ourselves getting frazzled, our practice is always there for us. Start to pick up your torso and walk it to the right. So we're stretching through the whole left side of the body. Literally coming up and off of the mat, getting a big stretch from our hip, underneath our ribs, our arm, and then all the way to our fingertips. So at the end of the pose is generally when your body begins to open up a little more. So towards the end, go for it. Try to walk a little bit further, try to reach a little bit deeper, try to stretch a little bit more intensely. Come back to center. And all the way up to a tabletop position. Hands and knees. Hands under the shoulders, knees about an inch behind the hips. Roll the shoulders back. Inhale, lift your tailbone, lift your chin and eye gaze upward. On your exhale, round and curl. Hug the ribs in, draw navel to spine and chin to chest. Again, roll the shoulders back. Inhale, start to look up. On your exhale, round and curl. Tuck the chin, navel to spine, rounding and curling. Keep going. Big inhales, linking your movements, and big exhales to your breath. One more time. And then exhale, tuck, round, and curl. We're going to do our eye of the needle flow. So take your right arm back up and around, making a big circle. Our shoulder is a ball and socket joint, and it's meant to have this 180 direction. Reverse the direction. All the girls here have pretty open shoulders. If yours is getting stuck somewhere, don't worry. Keep showing up. Keep doing the work. It's progress, not perfection. Reach your right arm all the way up and pause. Find a little bit more depth, and then twist right arm and shoulder underneath the body. So we don't have a lot of gravity against us, which is awesome. We can let our hips turn. Don't feel like you have to keep your hips square. That might take away from the twist. So if your left hip comes forward, it's all good. Really get underneath the body as best as you can. Your left hand can stay on the ground, or it can wrap around your back into a half bind. A bind means one item fuses or attaches to another. So make sure that you're grabbing a hold of something with the intention of deepening and pulling and twisting. So the arm is just not hanging there in a bind, it's active. Wherever you are at, take your left leg back and up and spread the toes. If you fall out of this, remember falling's part of the practice. It's about getting back up. Bring your left hand down, press into it firmly, and reach your right arm forward so you're in a balancing tabletop. Inner spiral the thighs so the toes turn slightly in towards your body. On an inhale, reach up, and on an exhale, draw your elbow to your knee. This is our core cultivation flow. Again, inhale, reach out, lift up, strengthening the back body. Exhale, elbow to knee, contracting and strengthening that front body. One more time, just like that. When you get to elbow to knee, hold it, and then pause. Round and curl, navel to spine. Half moon on the knee, bring your right hand down and kick your left heel back, taking your left arm back and up. Flex the foot, inner spiral the thigh. Use the outer leg to pick it up a little bit higher. Awesome. Good, so we're gonna take the outer edge of the foot down on the mat and streamline the left bicep to the ear. Really getting this big stretch on the left side of the body. Good, if you need a wider base, you can take your right foot and turn it out. This usually makes us feel more stabilized because the bottom half becomes wider. Maybe you want to open up into a back bend and just spin your heart open. Make your way to one-legged tabletop. So take your left hand down and your left leg back and up. We're going to find 3 sunbird bows. So dip your chest between your hands and lift your leg up high. Squeeze your back leg. Good, and then come back up. Beautiful. 2 more times. Dip the chest low, reach the leg high, contract the back body. Inhale, rise up. 1 more time. Remember, it's just warm-up mode. If you want to fly it, you can take your upward peacock pose. But try to pull yourself up with your top leg as opposed to kick up from the bottom leg. Back to tabletop, dancing lion. So dancing lion, remember, is our free movement stretch. Think about moving out the kinks and the sticky parts. The yoga practice is simply to be like cleaning out the toxins and the excess debris, like flossing your teeth. We're getting to all those little missed parts. Left arm back up and around, eye of the needle flow. Good. Same thing on the other side. Reverse the direction. Working on that full range of motion in the shoulder. Reach the arm all the way up and pause, and then thread it through, bringing the arm underneath the body. We want to have these bodies nice and supple, strong, up into our 70s, our 80s, our 90s. So when we do stuff like the shoulder opening stretch, it really helps to protect us because the ball and socket joint is meant to move in a particular direction. It protects the nearby hinge joints. So the more open that we do get that shoulder, the more likely we are to protect ourselves from injuries down the road. Take your right hand down, or your right leg back and up. Good. Spread the toes and draw the leg up nice and high. Good. We tend to forget about the final end limb, so the toes spreading is a part of it. Beautiful yogi toes, girls. Take the right hand down and the left arm forward into your balancing table and pause. Again, flexing the foot and inner spiraling the thigh. On the inhale, reach it up, and on your exhale, squeeze elbow to knee, rounding and curling. Again, inhale, reach out, lift up. Exhale, round and curl, elbow to knee. 1 more time. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze. Little more depth, navel to spine. Left hand down, right heel back, half moon on the knee, reaching the right arm up. Flex the foot, inner spiral the thigh. From the outer right leg, lift it up higher. Ground the outer edge of your right foot on the mat and streamline the right bicep to the ear. Again, turn your left foot out so it's parallel with the back edge of your mat and open up your heart and find a little back bend. Good. One-legged tabletop, right hand down and right leg back and up. 3 sunbird bows. Dip the chest low, lift the leg high, and come back to center. 2 more times, dip the chest low, come on up. 3rd and final set, try to pull yourself up instead of kicking yourself up. When we kick ourselves up, we're using a lot of energy. We have to stop that energy. When we use strength, we have contained energy. Make your way back to tabletop. Dancing lion 1 more time, just to move out any kinks. Moving into the sides of the hips, the lower back, the neck. And stretching the wrists out, dial the hands backwards. Start to lean back. You don't have to go that far to feel it. Roll over the front part of the hands. You can wiggle the fingers a few times, make fists. Try to keep your arms straight, maybe lean back. Good. Down dog. So spread your fingers wide, tuck the toes under, and lift the hips up and back. Big breaths in, big exhalations out, being mindful not to sink on the joints. You'll hear a lot of yogis say that they get wrist problems. It's not the yoga that's giving them the wrist problem, it's the way that they're doing the yoga. You want to lift up off of your joints. It's not about sitting and sinking on them. So within all of your poses, see if you can create a ground force reaction, pushing down into the floor to lift out of the joints, as opposed to just pressing down on the ground and sinking on the joints. Take your right leg back and up for a one-legged dog. Explore your one-legged dog. So you can open the hip, close it, bend, straighten the leg, and then you make the decision what your body might need more of today throughout the rest of the practice. Does it need an open hip? Does it need a closed hip? A little hint is it's usually the place your body doesn't want to go so much easier than the other. Come high on the ball of your left foot, round and curl, knee to nose. Tiny little package. So we're shifting the weight way forward, and see if we can make this space between the shoulder blades puffy. Yep, one-legged dog, flex your foot, inner spiral the thigh, really square it off. Good, so as the right hip comes forward, the left hip goes back. Round and curl, knee to nose, teeny tiny little package. And then place your right foot down between your hands. Roll the shoulders back and lengthen your spine. Squaring the hips off, right hip back and left hip forward. Reach your arms back so you're in a variation of half crescent. Your chest is wide, so we're stretching the pecs, widening the collarbone. And on your inhale, sweep your arms straight up to high crescent. Pinkies in, thumbs out. So as you see, those hands want to turn out. That's because we put a lot of armor around our heart space. So we want to draw the pinkies in and the thumbs out, so we start to chip away at the blockages. Look up and lift up. As you lift up, lower your left knee softly down. Your right hand is going to grab your left wrist, deep side stretch, pulling towards the right, melting the hips forward and down. This is a wonderful place to stay. If you have the ability to take your right hand down without crashing, go a little bit deeper, right hand down, reaching through the left. Good, come all the way up to center and hook one thumb on top of the other. So you're kind of forming a bird sign with your palms. Take your hands behind your head and pull your elbows back, let your heart open up. So our spine is meant to be flexible. We all have the same amount of joints in the spine. It's the surrounding muscles, tendons, and ligaments that get tight that prevent it from opening. So here we're really helping open the shoulders and the chest. Good, keep your eye gaze up and extend your palms back up. Start to unhook the thumbs and sweep your arms down for the count of 5. Lift your chest higher, squeeze the shoulder blades together for 4. For 3. Let the ears tilt back for 2. Lower your hips all the way down. Maybe the fingertips touch the floor on 1. Good, hands frame the right foot. Find lunge. Tuck your back toes under and lift up the back leg. Start to straighten your front leg. Intense side forward fold. We have a few options with the back foot. So as you can see, Molly has the back foot stepped up a little bit and she turned the heel down to 45. That's a good option. You can see Miss Linda over here has her heel really high. That's a good option. You'll feel it a lot in the back of the right hamstring. Good. And as you can see, Tracy here is starting to work her heel down towards the mat, which gets you back into the calf. Whatever you're doing, whatever variation, they're fine. Make sure your hips are square. So squeeze an imaginary block between your inner thighs. Good. Walk your hands back. And you can come on your finger pads. If you're at home and you have blocks, you can also put your hands on blocks. So don't worry, I know not everybody here is a master at this yet, and that's okay. Deep abdominal crunch. Look at your right foot. Now try to pick up your right foot forward into your face. Draw your hips back and up and swing the leg through. One-legged dog. One day your foot does not scrape the mat. Take the right foot down to meet the left, down dog. And breathe. Remember, practice, not perfection. Come high on your toes, bend your knees, turbo dog. Shift the weight forward, find a hovering tabletop. So our tabletop should not be like your grandma's old table that has all those cracks in it, no wooden cracky tables. There's no dips in it. So think about expanding and puffing up the back. So we could balance a glass of delicate wine right on top of there, maybe after class. Bring the knees all the way down to the earth. Little vinyasa and vino. That's a whole nother class. Dip your chest between your hands and pause. Come all the way down to your belly, preparing for 3 cobras. Exhale, and on your inhale, lift up to your hips. Good. So we don't have to come up too high, maybe the navel, and lift your hands off the ground. Squeeze the elbows back, shoulder blades together. Good, so that you feel your lats turn on, that upper middle back. Exhale and lower. Some of us don't realize that we're muscling with our lower back, which is, we don't want our lower back to do all the work. We want our whole back involved. Walk your hands back a little closer. If you want, separate your knees a little wider than your hips for a wider leg variation. Lifted cobra. Press into the tops of the feet and thighs. If you are doing the wide leg variation, make sure you're pushing into your big toes just as much as your pinky toes so that you know that you're not squeezing your sacrum. Exhale and lower. One more time. Inhale, lifted cobra. Exhale, lower. However you want to get to down dog. You can find a child's pose. You can find a reverse push-up. Meet us back in down dog. Take the left leg back and up and explore the pose. Open the hip, close it, bend straighten the leg, circle out the ankle. Just as we were doing a dancing lion, we're kind of doing that here in our one-legged dog. It's like a dancing dog. Come high on the ball of your right foot, round and curl, knee to nose. We are still chucking our chin towards our chest, so if we were to come forward, our shoulders would hit before our head. One-legged dog, flex the foot inner, spiral the thigh. Just taking a little inventory to what's going on in the body. Start to change the dialogue to, oh, I'm tight there, to, oh, this is where I need to work on. Round and curl, knee to nose. Place the foot down between the hands. Roll the shoulders back, lengthen the spine. Square your hips off, left hip back and right hip forward. Reach the arms back so you're in a variation of half crescent. Sweep your arms all the way back and up so you are in your high crescent. Make sure that you have more weight on the back leg. So you might have to tuck your tail, you might have to bend your back leg a little bit so that your front leg isn't taking all of the work. Drop down to low crescent, nice and slow, onto the right knee. Left hand grabs the right wrist, deep side stretch. Pulling to the left, melting the hips forward and down towards the earth. If you want to take it deeper, you can bring your left hand down. Bring it back to center. If you can remember which thumb went on top, it's the one that usually doesn't come so naturally, switch it. Take the thumbs behind the head, open the chest. Start to chip away at that arm or around your heart space. Keep your eye gaze up, committing to not having to see, but rather feel, and extend the arms up. For the count of 5, begin to unfurl. 5, 4, lift the chest up, draw the shoulder blades together. 2, and then maybe on 1, your hands hit the floor, melt the hips down, find lunge. Hands frame the left foot, tuck the back toes under, and push up the hamstring, knee, and thigh. Start to straighten your left leg, intense side forward fold. What you do with the back foot is up to you. Try something new every day. Tiny little adjustments make all of the difference. Whether we are adjusting the physicality in the pose or whether we are adjusting our mindset of the pose. Walk your hands back, come high on the toes of your right foot. Round your spine, pull in your belly, flex your left foot, try to pick it up towards your face. Hips back and up, one-legged dog. Left leg meets the right, amazing job. Maybe you're ready to get a little more aggressive in your down dog, lifting up all 10 of the toes, pushing the knees and thighs back. Isometrically drawing your inner thighs away from each other and the outer heels down. Begin to walk all the way up to the top of the mat, maybe with straight legs and flexed feet, like a pirate with peg legs, finding your pelvic floor, all the way up to the top of the mat. Once you get to the front edge, hang heavy. Let the upper body go. Relax the face, the eyes, the jaw. Completely soften. And as you ragdoll heavy, letting gravity massage your spine, slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. Chin comes up last, rolling the shoulders back and down. Legs together, toes and heels touching. Inhale, reach up. Keep your arms up, lift your 10 toes, and bend your knees into chair. As you reach up, making yourself feel light. Squeeze the knees, squeeze the thighs, and squeeze the ankles. Exhale, fold, forward bend. Let it go. Inhale, lengthen your spine. We're gonna open the mouth and take a vocal exhale. Roll the shoulders back. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Open the mouth, exhale. One more time, inhale, lengthen, and pause. Let's take the left leg back and up so you're in a supported warrior 3. This might be just enough for you today, or open your arms out and up for airplane Dekasana. Think fingertips higher than shoulder tips, and lift from your sternum so that you lead with your heart. Softly step back to warrior 1. So ground your outer heel and reach your arms up. We're lifting up the inner thigh and grounding the outer edge of the back heel. Being mindful not to crash into the medial arch, but lift it up so that you protect the ankle. Cactus arms, so bend your elbows back and down. Open your chest, reach your arms behind you, interlock the fingers. Catching a bind. Inhale, exhale, fold inside of your right leg. Let your head go, let your arms fall. Relax your face, your eyes, and your jaw. By practicing keeping our face soft and our eyes kind, we help to keep ourselves graceful, whether it be on the mat or when we step up off of the mat. Stay low, begin to straighten your right leg. Pick up your toes and turn them in so you're in a wide-legged fold, shoulder stretch. With the help of your bind, come all the way up to a standing position. Reach your arms out, palms down, and shoulders away from the ears. Turn your toes out to 45 degrees. Inhale and bend your knees, sitting low for goddess. Find your pelvic floor. These are the muscles below the reproductive organs. Think about lifting your best parts in and up. Lift your right heel. So we're getting into the back of the leg and the glute. Sit a little deeper, lower the right heel, lift the left heel. Good. Sit, lower, lift up both heels. Good. Lower the heels down, inhale, reach up, rise up to stand all the way up. Pick up your toes, turn them back in, and swan dive out and over, wide-legged fold. Surrender. We'll take a hands to feet pose, whatever you're ready for. So maybe 2-finger grip on the big toes, or grabbing the outer edges of the heels for a little bit deeper variation. Inhale, lengthen your spine, hollow your belly. Exhale, with your core, lengthen and pull the body in. Lastly, use your arms to pull up on the feet. Shoulders away from the ears. Good. Upper body starts to shift through the legs, weight to the toes. Release, lengthening your spine, wide-legged twist. Center your right hand and bring your left hand on your hip. Try to keep your hips square. Draw your heart up, your left shoulder back on top of the right. Reach up your left arm. This is a great place to stay. You can also catch a half bind. Remember, grabbing a hold of the hip or thigh. If you want to catch your full bind, right hand grabs the outer edge of the left ankle. Lengthen out and then pull and twist up. If you're working for your intense bind, you're going to thread your left arm underneath your right, going through the hole, grabbing the opposite leg. This is more for the people that have very open shoulders. It will help you to get so much deeper into your twist, toning and detoxifying the internal organs. Exhale, let it go. Walk it around to the front of the mat, right side lunge. Take your right leg back to plank and pause. Full body integration, lifting up the knees, lifting up the thighs. If you need to drop the knees at any time, place them down, chaturanga. Come forward, bend your elbows halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog and pause. We're on the tops of the feet, rolling the shoulders back and down. Look over your right shoulder. Remember, at any time you can bring your knees down, come back to center, look over the left shoulder. Keep the collarbone wide, and look back to center, look up. Draw your chin towards your chest, push into the floor, round your back. Try to connect with every single vertebra in your spine as you press back to downward facing dog. As you can see, we do our down dogs with a rounded back, the press back from up dog to down dog. I know a lot of styles of yoga do it with a long spine. When you do it with a round back, you really help to work your core. It feels amazing, and it's so good for your spine. Looking forward, either walk, jump, or float up to the top of your mat for forward fold. On your inhale, lengthen your spine, and on your exhale, fold. Reverse swan dive all the way up to stand. Catch a little back bend at the top. Hands to heart center, prayer position. Arms by the sides, taking a moment to equalize. So monitor your thoughts to regulate your body. Inhale, reach up, sit low in chair. Lift your toes, bend your knees. We're gonna add on with a half chair, folding halfway down. Lifting up the 10 toes. Now we're gonna float our chair, so shift the weight to the toes and lift up the heels. Squeeze the knees, the thighs, and the ankles. Fold, forward bend. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, lengthen your spine. This time, right leg back and up, pause. Either in a supported warrior 3 with the hands on the ground, or reaching the arms out and up for a flying variation, Dekasana. Airplane pose. Step back, warrior 1. Heel down, arms up. Lifting up the right inner thigh, grounding the outer edge of the right heel. If your biceps are in front of your face, try to get them by your ears. If they're by your ears, try to get them behind your ears. Cactus arms. Bind. Humble warrior. Fold. If your shoulder catches at your knee, that is normal. We want to slide the shoulder rather inside of the knee, so your hips are not going to be square here. Make as much room as you need to slide inside of the knee. Although the action is to pull the left hip back as if you were trying to square the hips, they are visibly not square. Stay low. Maybe bend your left knee a little bit more as you inhale. And then straighten the left leg as much as you can on the exhale. Pick up the toes, turn them in so you are in a wide-legged fold. Inhale, come all the way up to a standing position. Pause. Arms up overhead, eagle wrap your right arm under the left, palms flat in front of the face. If you're not able to get the palms to touch because your shoulders are tight, you can grab on the inner part of the arm, you can grab the thumb. If all else fails, just wrap around and give yourself a tight hug. Find the weight in your left leg, heel toe the right foot in as much as you need to. Pick up the right leg and eagle wrap it up and over the left. Squeezing the legs together tightly like ropes. One day your foot hooks. If the foot does not hook today, that is fine. You want to take your right knee, if that's the case, and point it to the left. If the right foot is off to the side, point it in. So it's like you're trying to remove any light between the legs. And release, step the right foot back out. Inhale, reach up. Left arm underneath the right. Palms flat in front of the face. Elbows down, shoulders away from the ears. Left leg up and over, eventually wrapping and hooking the toes. If your toes do happen to hook, try to level your hips and shoulders. So we actually have a mirror here in today so they can see. Think about bringing the lower hip up and the higher shoulder down. Step it back out. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, swan dive, forward, fold. Second set of hands to feet pose, or an inversion if you want to play. An inversion you could take would be a headstand, a forearm stand, or a handstand. My biggest piece of advice is that as soon as your feet lift off the ground, you pull them forward. What that does is, we call it pop and lock, your hips over the shoulders. Awesome. If you are in inversion, think about your exit strategy and then start to put it into play. Lengthen the spine, wide-legged twist, left hand center, right hand on the hip. We want to first lengthen out, twist, and reach up the right arm. Good. So the longer you get in your spine before you twist, the deeper you will get it. Take the right arm around the back, half bind, maybe grab the outer right ankle with your left hand, full bind, maybe thread the right arm underneath the left for your intense bind. Same thing here. In this bind, you want to lengthen out first, then pull and twist to get the best depth out of your twist. Exhale, let it go. Walk it around to the front of the mat. Left side lunge, high plank, lower chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Try rounding back. Breathe. Allow the breath to vibrate along the back of the throat. Maybe get the legs a little straighter, get the heels a little closer to the ground. Walk your hands back to meet your feet at the back of your mat. Heel toe your feet apart, about mat distance apart, toes out, heels in, wide, yogic squat. Elbows in the knees, hands in prayer at heart center. If this is too intense for you, you can sit on a block. If you would like to play, reach your right arm in front of your right leg and your left arm up in the air. Stay or wrap and bind around the front of the knee, grabbing hands, or the right hand grabbing the left wrist. Try not to dump all the weight to the right side. Keep just as much weight, nice Tracy, in the left side. Stay here or possibly come up for your standing garland pose, finding the weight in your left leg and rising up to stand. Awesome. Eventually, eye gazes over the left shoulder. So good. Try to exit the same way you enter. Open the arms, bring the hands to heart center. Other side. Reach the left arm out and the right arm up. Bind if you bind, and play if you play. Learn to have a sense of humor with your practice. Open the arms, bring your hands to heart center. Forward fold, let it go. Make sure that your feet are separated only hips distance apart. Lift up the front of your feet, Pada Hastasana. So we're sliding our hastas under our padas, stepping on the entire palm. Molly doesn't like my jokes anymore. She's over them. Toes are lined to the wrist crease. Inhale, lengthen the spine, but you guys are new. You can laugh. Exhale, fold, let it go. So that's really important that we don't pull on the feet with our elbows pulling forward, because that's going to crash your neck and you're not going to feel good after class. They're just pulling out and up so that you're lengthening your cervical spine rather than crunching it. I like to imagine I'm a turtle and I'm poking my head out of its shell. Shift the weight forward to the toes at the end of the pose and release, walk it out, downward facing dog. Bring your feet together, look forward, sit way back, walk, jump, or float all the way up to the top of the mats. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale and fold. Reverse swan dive all the way up to stand. Hands to heart center in prayer. I promise last set of Utkatasana. Reach the arms up, chair. Half chair. Float your chair. Crow. Palms down, knees to the underarms. If you don't take crow, you can find another set of hands to feet pose. The key to the crow is to work your knee up into your arms instead of your arms back to your knees. Nice, Linda. Look forward. Ready? Jump back. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. And downward facing dog. Have fun with it. Make sure that your internal dialogue is not feeding your tormentor, telling you how much you suck when you don't do it up to par. That it's feeding your mentor that's having a good time with the practice. Take the right leg back and up. Inhale, round and curl. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, one-legged dog. Right leg back and up. Knee to left underarm. Inhale, right leg back and up. Knee to right underarm. Inhale, last time, back and up, all the way through to lunge. Warrior two, turn your left heel down, cartwheel open. 3 pumping warriors. Inhale, straighten your legs, lift up off your joints. Exhale, warrior two. So you might be wondering, keep going 2 more times, why we do this in every class. This is helping us find the balance between the lifting up and engaging, and then the bending and softening, and I hate to use the word sinking. That's what we're trying not to do. We're trying to find the lightness between the two. Flip the palm of your right hand up, reverse your warrior. Let your left hand slide down your left leg. Your right bicep come by your ear. As you reach back, soften into the front knee. We're trying to open up the hip flexor, not just the side body. Forearm to thigh, bicep to ear. Extended floor angle pose. If you don't need the forearm on the thigh anymore, take the hand to the ground. It's important that when we start to use our elbow points, we don't get stuck on them. Just like the arm balance is, it's not a place we want to live. It's somewhere where we can touch base at. Maybe you can take a half bind, a full bind, or a bound variation today if you would like to play. Deep, low lizard lunge. So bring the hands inside of your right foot and lower your left knee down. Come down to the elbows and forearms. Make a little room with your right foot if you need to, heel toeing it to the side. And what you choose to do with your right foot's like the one-legged dog, it's up to you. Either the foot is flat, you're going to probably feel more in the front of your left hip that way, or you're rolling on the blade of the right foot where you'll probably feel it more in the outside of the right hip. Either way is fine. It's up to you to decide what you need more of. Deep quad stretch. Come on your left hand, reach your right hand around for the back foot, grabbing a hold of the foot if you can. For some of us, just getting to the foot is challenging. You can also be down on the forearm here, which is great, or you can press up onto the palm. I hear different things from different people. I find it's more intense on the hand. Some people say it's more intense on the forearm. So it's up to you. If you do get a hold of the foot and the hips start to pop up, now you're just softening the hips down. Good. We're going to heel toe the right foot to the midline and take a half split or a full split. So half split, hips back, toes to the face. Full split, tucking your left toes under and kicking out through your heel. There are two main culprits with the splits, and that's the hips and the thighs. So once the hamstrings are at their brink, bend your knees and get into the hips. And then when the hips have hit their brink, straighten the legs and get back into the legs. So it's like you're inching your way down to the ground like a caterpillar. With your back foot tucked under, like the exercise we did in the warm-up, right leg backing up, one-legged dog. Pick the foot up, take it through. Try not to scrape it, one-legged dog. Bend your knee, open your hip, look over your left arm. Stay there or flip your dog, dancer's bridge. Dancer's bridge is like a fancy wheel. The back heels up off the ground, lift your chest. Step it all the way back through to lunge, right foot between the hands. Step your left foot up halfway, turning the foot 45 degrees. Place your hands on your hips, inhale, rise to stand. We're going to take the arms behind the back. You can either grab opposite elbows, or if you have the flexibility, you can find a reverse prayer position behind the lower back. Roll the shoulders back, inhale, lengthen the spine, exhale and fold. Up and over, flat back. Try to keep your hips square. Pressing into the right big toe. And then drawing the left hip back. Take the hands down to frame your right foot. Walk it out to half moon pose. Right hand either on a block or on the floor. Left leg backing up, left arm up. Flex the foot, inner spiral the thigh, bring the left leg higher. Good. Revolved half moon. Left hand down, square the hips off, reach the right arm up. We want to try not to sink into the right hip, so push down into your right big toe. Take the hands down, standing split, walking the hands in. Cupping the right hand behind the heel, elbow behind the calf. One day, both hands behind the heel and both elbows behind the calf. Seated twist. Take the left knee down behind the right heel, sitting all the way down on the floor. Right hand at the base of the spine, left arm up and over, elbow outside of the knee. Inhale, lift up, exhale, twist back, looking over the right shoulder. You can keep the hand up. It's also nice to try to reach down and grab the bottom knee, or reach through the hole and find a bind. Counter twist the pose, bow to the left. Straddle splits, opening the legs out in opposite directions. Good. Walking out 1 inch at a time. There's no rush. Eventually the tummy will hit before the chest. Come back up, nice and slow. Right leg meets the left at the top of the mat. Reverse tabletop. Place your feet flat, the hands on the ground behind you, and lift your hips up. This is really good for the shoulders, especially if you do a lot of chaturangas or arm balances. Lower the hips down, half boat, pick up your feet, grab the back of your hamstrings. Find your stability and reach your arms out and up. Possibly straighten your legs to full boat for 5. 4, be graceful, keep your face soft and your eyes kind. 2, and 1. Cross at your ankles, jump it back, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg back and up, home stretch, round and curl, knee to nose. Inhale, back and up, movement with breath, get the heart rate going, take it to your right underarm. Inhale, sweep it back and up. Last time, left knee to the left underarm. And here we go, back and up. Step it all the way through to lunge. Cartwheel it open to warrior 2. Just like a sprinter that does sprints, we bring the heart rate up and then we take it down. Remembering that we are in control of the body. 3 pumping warriors. Inhale, reach up and squeeze. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, reach up, make space in your joints. Exhale, warrior 2, do not come crashing down on those joints. One more time, inhale, lift up. Exhale, warrior 2, staying light on the joints. Flip the palm of the left hand up, reverse your warrior. Right hand down the right leg. Keep your back leg strong. Sometimes we forget about the knee and we start to soften and break into it. Extended floor angle, forearm onto the thigh. Maybe just as a touch base pose, but then bring the hand to the ground and take the right bicep to the ear. The pose is called extended floor angle. So we're looking for this beautiful angle from our heel all the way to our fingertips. So if you have any bumps in the road along the way, see if you can smooth them out. If you play, half bind, full bind, bound, floating pose of choice. Lizard lunge, hands inside of the left foot, come all the way down to the right knee. Heel toe your left foot to the side on the elbows and forearms. Remember, the tension did not magically appear overnight, so it's not going to magically disappear in just one yoga class. We need to practice every day. Maybe our practice is not just on our mats. When we do yoga and we call ourselves a yogi, it doesn't mean it's because we can do a handstand or a chaturanga, but it's a way of life. Try not to let your practice end here. Deep quad stretch. Come onto your right hand. Reach your left hand around for your back foot, squeezing your heel towards your seat. Melting the hips down towards the ground. Half or full splits, heel toe the foot to the center, hips back, toes to the face. If you're taking full splits, tuck the right toes under and extend out through the heels. And again, when your body starts to go into contraction mode, first of all, pay attention to your dialogue. Soften your knees, soften your face, soften maybe your approach into the pose. Remember, tight muscles are like angry people. If you punch them, more than likely they're just gonna punch you right back. So you wanna butter them up and get them on your side so that instead of them reacting with the punch, they relax and respond. One-legged dog, take the left leg back and up, bend the knee, open the hip, and look over the right arm. This is a great place to stay, especially if you got something going on in the shoulder. Otherwise, flip it out, dancer's bridge. Lift your hips high on the ball of the back foot like a fancy wheel. Rewind it, one-legged dog, all the way through to left side lunge, stepping the right foot up halfway, turning the toes to 45. Hands on the hips, rise to stand. Arms behind the back, grab opposite elbows or take reverse namaskar. Inhale, lift your chest, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, fold, weight in the big toe, pushing away from the outer right heel. Imagining that we're squeezing that block between the thighs to help us keep the hips square. Hands come down, walk out the left hand about 6 inches in front of you on a block or on the floor, right leg back and up, half moon, reaching the right arm up. Flex the foot, inner spiral the thigh, lengthen the tail. Revolved half moon, right hand down, square the hips off, reach the left arm up. Make sure you're pushing away from the left leg. Lifting up through the right leg. Standing splits. Walk the hands in, swing the right leg all the way up, cupping the heel from behind with one hand, elbow behind the calf, helping to pull you in with that bicep strength. Or both hands around. Seated twist, hands down, sit down, right knee behind the left ankle. Right arm up and over, elbow hooking outside of the knee. Inhale, lift up, exhale, twist back. You can keep the hand up, maybe reach down and cup the bottom knee, or reach through the hole for a bind. Inhale, lift up, exhale, twist back. Counter twist the pose, bow and folding in towards your right. Extend both legs straight out in front of you. Reverse plank pose, palms down, lift the hips up, push down into the big toes, try to keep them together and touching, head goes back. Lower the hips down, reach the arms up and roll back, one vertebra at a time. Press into the palms, lift your right foot off the ground an inch. Lower down, lift the left foot up off an inch. Lower down, lift up both feet up an inch. And all the way up and over to plow. If plow is not in your practice, you're going to know right away. You can omit it by taking a simply either feet up the wall pose, leg up the wall pose, or prop your hips up on a block in an inverted staff pose. Otherwise, grab your back and find shoulder stand, extending your legs straight up towards the ceiling. Think pubic bone away from the face to the toes. And you can continue to walk your hands closer to the shoulder blades. Moving back to your plow. And slowly rolling out of it, Shavasana. One vertebra at a time. Final fish bridger wheel. Last back bend, last pose of our practice. Lifting the hips up. Either in bridge, bringing your hands underneath, clasping the hands, or in wheel, taking the hands to either side of your head and pressing all the way up. If you're taking fish, point the toes, grabbing the sides of the thighs, lifting up to the crown of the head. And slowly lower down. Let's get comfortable. Final Shavasana. Relax the legs, relax the arms, allow the palms to open up. Allow the whole body to supinate. Relax the face, the eyes, and the jaw. Yogis, remember that when we step off of our mats today, we hope that our practice begins to ring true into our everyday lives. We are in the pose when we are with our family, when we're holding our children, when we're playing with our dogs. We are in the pose when we are ordering food from our waiter at dinner. We are in the pose. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you so much for practicing with us. Namaste.